Hi everyone, this is Sean from Teaching Python. I'm wrapping up my last day of vacation and headed back to the grindstone next week. But I'm here on a rainy day and I had some time to think about things. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today was how to separate fact from fiction when it comes to AI and education. And sometimes it's hard to tell the difference because a lot of influencers that you might see or people talking about AI do so with a lot of confidence. They sound like they know what they're talking about. And especially in an area as uncertain as AI and as fast changing as AI, it can often be difficult to separate what's fact from what's fiction. And so what I wanted to do was help give you some tips in terms of, understanding who is knowledgeable and credible and who may be frankly full of it. And so there are three things I wanted to share with you. First of all, you should be looking for people who can back their claims with evidence. Sweeping generalizations like AI will transform everything may be generally right in the right direction, but I tend to believe people who come at this with more credible, evidence-based information. As quickly as things are moving, it may be hard to find statistical studies that are quantitative in nature. So evidence based on either clear anecdotes, stories told from inside the classroom or when teaching a course or as part of a professional development, evidence that you can look at and say, yeah, that sounds right and reasonable and it comes from real life is probably preferable to someone who is, generalizing things or just trying to garner more views. So I would say start there first. There are a number of studies that are coming out now about that are more perspective based, right? So survey type information rather than observational. So you want to look for those as well. One study that I'll link to in this post shows that only 6% of educators believe that AI will do more good than harm at the moment. Let's see if we actually agree with that based on the evidence that's presented in that article, right? That's an example of something we want to look at as in terms of evidence, okay? The second thing you want to look for is a connection to an actual educational environment, right? So this doesn't necessarily have to be a classroom, but it could be a online course. It could be someone who tutors, someone who's doing professional development, someone who's teaching in the classroom. Even if they're a researcher, they should have strong links and connections to people who are actually in the business and practice of educating others. People who don't have that connection or their connection is from 20 or 30 years ago are probably less credible when it comes to their information about how AI and education will work together. There's a lot of complexity and nuance there. And as many of you know, the education from 20 years ago was different even before we got into the realm of generative AI, right? So we want to make sure that our practice of education is current and relevant. And even the people whose primary focus is research are also working directly with or connected to actual educators in the field, right? And then the last thing, and I think this is the one that maybe we all get, we don't necessarily think about up front, but it is very true, and it's something that is an easy indicator. If someone's selling something, if they've got a product or a service that they are promoting that is AI based, I would take it with a grain of salt. They may know what they're talking about, and there are a number of great AI products out there that are based in evidence and based in real practice, and they're being evolved and developed actively with teachers, educators, and learners in mind. But that's not always the case. There are a lot of people out there who are launching products without a lot of oversight, without a lot of knowledge, and they are out there to grab share in this market to get people to buy their product. And they're going to present a lot of content, blog posts, videos, things like that, that are, frankly, just there to sell their product. So let's look at what's their motivation for speaking about AI in education. Are they there to help make education better? Do they acknowledge the complexities and nuances of working in a classroom, all the challenges and opportunities that presents? Or are they there to sell you something that solves all of your problems, right? If it's the latter, I'd be highly skeptical. So hopefully this helps you sort out fact from fiction online. There are plenty of examples of great people doing great work trying to make this more understandable. That's what we're trying to do, right? And there's also a lot of people who are out there trying to sell people or gain followers. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe for more videos. Share this with another teacher if you think it's helpful. And we'll keep this going. We want to make sure that educators have all the tools at their disposal. And And sometimes separating fact from fiction, or the blarney from the truth, is really important. For Teaching Python, this is Sean signing off.